Welcome back to the channel. My name is Aaron Touchstone. Today we're doing a sim racing buyer guide for the 3 most popular sim racing gloves on Amazon. All the links to these gloves are going to be down in the description below, but we're going to be ranking all these gloves on a couple of different things. Number 1 is going to be comfort. Number 2 is going to be grip, then fatigue, durability, and cost. Yes, I'm using a cheat sheet, so I make sure that I hit all of these just because I think those are the 5 most important topics of each of these gloves. So without further ado, let's start with the cheapest and work our way up. Starting with the cheapest first. These are the cheapest, starting at $24.99. And I have been racing with these gloves the longest out of all of these gloves that I have here in today's video. I have to be honest about these gloves. I really planned on returning them. However, I forgot to press the return button on Amazon, missed the return date. Here I am 3 months later with these gloves, and overall, I would say they're pretty good. They have a couple of things that I do like and a couple of things that I don't like. And let's start with what I do like. And we're going to talk about the comfort level on these things, and that is the breathability. My hands do not get very hot in these things. They are definitely the most breathable gloves that I have here today. Now, we do have a couple of things that I don't like, and we're going to talk about our 5 topics here. So we have comfort. The comfort of these gloves, they are a bit more rough, and I actually kind of like that feeling in an odd way. But when we're talking about grip, and grip is where these things lack, in my opinion. If you look at the palm of my hand here, you'll notice I have little rubber grips here. So if you think about holding onto a steering wheel, it's really nice to grab the pedal or the paddles with these. Grabbing the gears feels amazing with these gloves. However, I'm rocking a 12 Newton meter wheelbase, and the grip lacks in these things. When I raced the 24 hours of Nürburgring, my hands started getting very tired because I was having to grip the steering wheel tighter, just because you kind of lack grip with this cloth material that they have in the palm of the hands. And so I really think if you're rocking anything between 12 Newton meters and up, you probably don't want to get these. I knocked my wheel down to 10 Newton meters, and they feel pretty good at that point, and that's where I kind of typically keep my base. But if you're rocking anything between 8 Newton meters and below, I would say these gloves would be great for you. You wouldn't have to really deal with any grip concerns, but when you're hitting a hard curb with this wheelbase, you do kind of need that extra grip, and I think these just kind of lack in that area. Cost is where I'm not going to kind of weigh in these rankings as much, because I think once you buy sim racing gloves, you should be able to invest in the higher dollar amount that you invest. You're probably going to end up with better gloves. But because these are so cheap, they actually do play. I would say these are 10 out of 10. For $24.99, you're getting a great value. I will say one other thing that's slightly annoying, y'all hear this quite loudly, is the Velcro. The Velcro can sometimes come loose, so just keep that in mind. It is nice being able to kind of tighten it how you like it, but I would overall rate these gloves a 6 out of 10. Moving on to glove number 2, and that is the Straze, I don't really know how to say it, gloves. My biggest complaint, and I wanted to show you this as I'm putting it on, is putting these things actually on your hand. Now, the material is a very soft material on the backside. It's very stretchy, but because of that, it is a struggle to get these things on. So I need my other hand. So it's putting these gloves on. If you've ever put on latex gloves, that is what it reminds me of. Now, these gloves do have an amazing feel. When you're feeling the wheel, you can feel everything in your hands. They do have padding on the knuckle area and then also the palm of your hands, which I find is just great. The amount of comfort and grip that you have with these feels absolutely incredible. Now, these are definitely the most comfortable. I do think that these are going to run into potentially durability problems. Now, I've probably put about 50 hours on these gloves at this point, which is not much time in the sim at all. and they feel great as far as grip goes, and as far as fatigue goes. I haven't really noticed much fatigue because of that extra grip in the palm of my hands. The shifting doesn't feel as good as these first gloves that I mentioned as far as a cheaper option, but I would much rather go with a better grip and fatigue level over me being able to have better feeling in my shifter hand at the end of the day. They also have the little thumb pad and finger pad to use your phone. They do work. If you've ever used gloves with those little finger pads in them, they never really work that well, so keep that in mind. You can get around with hitting your call button on your phone pretty easily though, which is quite nice. Overall, these things are great. These are currently on sale for $36.99. And I would overall rate these things probably a 8 out of 10, honestly. These are one of my favorite gloves. They're so comfy. They have so much grip in the hands, and I can run my wheelbase at max capacity and never have to worry about it. Now, these gloves, I will say the most annoying part is 100% putting them on and taking them off is always just a little bit frustrating. The most expensive gloves in this video are the Track Armor gloves. Now, you will notice that these gloves look completely different. They are fire resistant. They are flame retardant, which means that if you're ever actually driving a real car and you actually drive on the track in real life, these gloves might be for you because you can actually take them to the track and use them. Now, these gloves have grips or like little grippies all the way throughout the glove. They are $64.99, so quite the big price jump, almost double the price than both the other gloves, or more than double the price of the first glove. And a few different things here. If you're just looking at these gloves, they don't quite fit perfectly around your hand like the Straze gloves that we have here. But that almost is nice in some ways because it gives your fingers a little bit of wiggle room, in my opinion, instead of just being like squeezing your fingers tight all the time. Now, when you're shifting these, honestly, the grip in the hands feels great. Shifting on the paddle shifters feels almost like the first cheaper gloves that we had here. The biggest problem that I have with these is the breathability. So when you're sim racing, it is nice having a little bit of breathability because we don't have to take it as serious as being in an actual car, and that is where you might run into some hand sweat with these things because they are a lot more durable, a lot thicker, and a lot better quality. However, you're just gonna have to deal with your hands being a little bit warmer is the only problem with these. If you're running a wheelbase under 10 Newton meters, I probably wouldn't consider getting them unless they are the nicest glove here. Let's be completely honest. If you want the nicest glove, I would get these. They are very, very nice. The cost is where things kind of step into the picture, and I have a hard time judging the cost of these because they do play two parts. You can take this to a karting track, you can drive these in real life, so keep that in mind if you do either of those activities. But overall, if I had to buy one glove here, it's going to be the mid-tier. It's going to be the Straze at $36.99 for sim racing solely. And then I'm going to go with these. The Track Armor gloves are number 2. The only reason I'm going to rate these number 2 is because they're a bit hot for sim racing, and I prefer a little bit more comfort, especially while we're sim racing, we're inside. However, keep it in mind if you do go to an actual track, or maybe you like to drive you know, just back roads fast or something like that, and you prefer gloves on, I would probably get these. I hope y'all enjoy this video, and yeah, I hope you enjoy this video. If you have any questions about any of these gloves, leave a comment down below. Be sure to hit the subscribe button for any more buyer's guides, or you may see a couple buyer's guide. I've put a video of the cheapest sim racing cockpit that you can buy that is absolutely incredible. I'll link that here, and I will see y'all in the next one.